what's going on, everybody? It's me again, Golden Blue Dude. Hey, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. This channel is home of at least one college football video every single day. So if you like college football, this is the channel for you. And don't forget to check out my good friends at tristatewoodsketch.com. All you have to do is send them the picture, and they'll transfer it on the wood. They do family photos, couples photos, logos of your favorite team, all shapes and sizes. Right now, he's running a buy one, get one free special if you mention that Golden Blue Dude sent you. Now, I'll cover all of college football, but fair warning, this is going to be a West Virginia video. You can stick around if you're not a West Virginia fan. I'm just letting you know. West Virginia is coming off a big win over number 22 Iowa State at home. And you're starting to see Neil Brown turn the season around. Fans were wanting him to be fired after West Virginia started the season 2-4. And I understand that. You don't like losing. Neither do I. But up to that point, we had been in 4 50-50 games. The problem was we were 1-3 in that stretch. That's not good. And then we got blown out by Baylor. So that was kind of adding to the pile. Then we hit kind of a pivotal point in the season. We got our bye week. Since the bye week, West Virginia has looked like a completely different team. Now, overall, we averaged 29.6 points per game. That's 57th. That's the biggest complaint by everybody. Our offense didn't look good in 2019, didn't look good in 2020, and it doesn't look all that great this year. Now, on defense, we're allowing 22.9 points per game. That's 49th in the nation. Now, under Neil Brown, that's one thing West Virginia has been pretty good at on defense. We averaged 405.9 offensive yards a game and allowed 364.8 offensive yards a game. And all the issues that we fans were talking about, Neil Brown has actually addressed. He stopped calling the plays for the offense. The offensive line has gotten much better, and the defense has started turning people over. The only thing that he hasn't done that the fans have wanted him to do is start Garrett Green, and thank God he hasn't done that. And no, that's not trash talking Garrett Green. He's a phenomenal player. He just still needs to grow some more as a quarterback before he starts a football game for West Virginia. That's it. He's young. A lot of West Virginia fans' expectations for this year was unreasonably high, including myself. I predicted us to go 9-3, 8-4, with an outside shot of 10-2. That was really unreasonable. Having said that, West Virginia still does have a chance to go 8-4, and that would still be another step forward from last year. All is not lost in Morgantown. In fact, things are looking pretty good in Morgantown right now. Like I mentioned before, 50-50 games, that's what's hurt us the most. We've been in 5 of them this year. Now we're 2-3 after beating Iowa State. We lost at Maryland 30-24, 1 possession. We beat Virginia Tech 27-21, 1 possession. Lost at Oklahoma 16-13, 1 possession. Lost to Texas Tech at home 23-20, 1 possession. And beat Iowa State at home 38-31, 1 possession. But we're also 2-1 versus ranked opponents. We beat number 15 Virginia Tech at the time, and yes, they've turned out to be not so good. But had they beaten West Virginia, I think they would be having a completely different season. We lost at number 4 Oklahoma, and then we beat number 22 Iowa State. So we're actually doing pretty good against ranked opponents, and West Virginia will get another ranked opponent this Saturday at home against number 11 Oklahoma State. Now, if West Virginia upsets number 11 Oklahoma State at home, I think that's when West Virginia fans might start changing their tune about Neil Brown. I mean, this is a big game for West Virginia. If West Virginia beats Oklahoma State, we actually have a chance to finish the season 8-4. I definitely think West Virginia gets to a bowl because the remaining schedule, they get number 11 Oklahoma State at home, then at Kansas State, then Texas at home, and then at Kansas. I do think there's 2 wins in there. But if we beat Oklahoma State, we'll have momentum, we will have beaten the best team remaining on our schedule, and we would have a lot of confidence. Let's see real quick what's on the bowl menu for West Virginia. What bowls could they possibly go to at the end of the year? First up, the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. I think there's a 100% chance we can make that bowl, because I do think West Virginia finishes at least 6-6. That's the lowest Big 12 bowl. The Liberty Bowl, I'll say 80%. I think West Virginia can finish 7-5 and possibly finish 5th or 6th in the Big 12. The Texas Bowl, their chances of trying to make that bowl, I'd say 60%. We'd need a little bit of help to get to the Texas Bowl, but if we win out, that gives us a good chance to get to the Texas Bowl, so I'm going to give that a 60%. Next, the Cheez-It Bowl. Now, with that one, we would need a little bit more help. We definitely have to win out, and we need Oklahoma State or Baylor to stumble on the way. That way, we could finish 3rd or 4th in the Big 12. And finally, the Alamo Bowl. That one we need a lot of help on. I'd give us a 20% chance of making that bowl. And both Oklahoma State and Baylor would have to stumble and lose a couple of games for us to make the Alamo Bowl. But it's still possible. 20% is a low percentage, but it's still a possibility. If I would have been telling you this about 3 weeks ago, you would have laughed me out of the building. That's how big of a turnaround we've had since the bye week. Overall record for West Virginia right now is 4-4. We're on a 2-game winning streak. We're 2-3 in the Big 12, and we're tied for 5th in the Big 12. So this is a big game against Oklahoma State. We could jump as high as number 4 in the Big 12. 4th place in the Big 12. Who would have thought that 3 weeks ago? Not me. On top of that, next year, West Virginia will be getting one of their best recruiting classes ever, all thanks to Neil Brown. You have to keep trusting the climb. And I don't understand why people are trashing Jarrett Daggy. He actually leads the Big 12 in passing yards. He's 169 for 255. That's 66.3%. Thrown for 2,071 yards, 11 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and that's what people focus on. The real problem that West Virginia's offense has had is the running game. Running back Lady Brown, 141 carries for 642 yards. That's 4.6 yards a carry and 11 touchdowns. And no, I'm not trashing Lady Brown. That's not on him either. That was the offensive line. Our offensive woes center around the offensive line, not the quarterback, not the running back. Offensive line. Last 2 games, massive improvement for the offensive line. What have we seen? A better passing game and definitely a better running game. And it doesn't mean there won't be some slip-ups. Of course there's going to be slip-ups. It happens. We're not Alabama. We're not Ohio State. We're not Oklahoma. We're going to have slip-ups. I know a lot of people like to point out that I rant and raved after we lost to Texas Tech. Of course I did. I was mad, like everybody else. I said West Virginia can't beat a high school team because Texas Tech was a bad team. I said we should start Garrett Green because their offensive line was bad. I said our running game was nowhere to be found. I said our defense has taken a step back. All those things were true, but you kind of had to take it with a grain of salt because I was knee-jerk reaction. I was mad. You can ask the people that were there. I hung out with Uncle Lou to watch that game, and they thought they was going to have to call an ambulance. That's how upset I was. But as usual, I always calm down and make a rational video the day after, and that's what I did. But people like to point that out. I think West Virginia starts winning their 50-50 ball games, as proof by beating Iowa State. I think we have a real shot of beating number 11 Oklahoma State at home. We have to play a really good game, and that could slingshot us into an 8-4 season, depending on where everybody else falls. But honestly, the biggest reason why you don't fire Neil Brown this year, not because he's turning things around, not because I think he's a good coach, but because if you fire him anytime before the end of next season, West Virginia will have no shot of having a decent coach in the near future. That's the biggest reason. West Virginia's future. Not to mention we extended him last year, so that will look even worse for West Virginia. So you have to be thinking for the future. I know we all want instant gratification, but with stuff like this, you have to be patient. And if things don't work out with Neil Brown, I think after next year would be when you would think about firing him. You have to get through this year, and you have to see what happens next year. If things don't work out, we fire him, move on. But for the sake of the future of West Virginia football, we cannot fire him before the end of next season. That's a fact. I'm pretty excited to see what West Virginia is doing, turning this season around. Hey, and not only are we on a 2-game winning streak, but both of those wins were upset wins. That road win on the road against TCU, that was an upset win. We were a 4.5-point underdog. That home win against number 22 Iowa State, that was an upset win. We were a 7.5-point underdog. Let's upset number 11 Oklahoma State at home and finish the season with a good bowl bid. I have a feeling that next season could be a special season for West Virginia. That's all I got for you for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on my next show.